Hi, everybody. I thought I'd go live while everyone is out of town, so I don't have to be in the garage. Um, I was going to finish the evening watching the Dodgers playing St. Louis, but St. Louis is putting it to the Dodgers, so I decided I'd take some time to address some stuff. I have a video out already, so if it's a pretty long one, it's kind of a podcast talking about the stuff that's already kind of happened and this week, because this week has been extremely eventful. Um, I can't even begin to address half the shit that's going on. But I think a lot of the stuff that we need to talk about is basically trying to keep optimistic where they're throwing stuff at us left and right. And also, as you can see, the title of this, we have to discuss the president's cognitive health, president's health, period. Because there's something he's, I mean, some of the stuff he's saying today at some kind of weird ass event, he was doing his usual cognitive stuff, doing that weird thing again. Reports are the president is walking around the White House, saying that, hey, I'm the greatest person ever that been on this planet, greater than Alexander, greater than Napoleon. I'm the greatest person ever. Okay. I mean, he put up a statue of himself on one of his golf courses. I mean, a statue. I mean, something out of a North Korean or Soviet thing. Put up a statue of himself. And then apparently, for the celebration of the 250th anniversary of our country, more normally that would be like maybe something special, like a flag, or maybe the founding fathers, or something with the password, something with to commemorate the country's history. He's going to release special edition passports with his face on it. See, this is the issue with him. He thinks now he is America. He thinks that he did everything in the last 250 damn years. Last 250 years, Trump did it. He signed he wrote the Constitution, wrote the Declaration of Independence, fought and won the independence, war for independence, all of it. I mean, he is taking credit for this entire thing. That the 250th anniversary isn't about America as a whole. That we made it to that point. Okay? No, it's not even celebrating democracy, the uniqueness that is America, our different takes on the Constitution, and even our culture, states, and overall. No. It's all about him. That's insane. It's bloody insane. But, I mean, this is where we're at right now. And I want to touch on a couple of things because this gets to be overwhelming. All right? So a couple of things with kind of what do they call stuff out of the way. You can still follow me here at RJ12764 at TikTok. I'm at Binder38US on Substack, Binder38US on YouTube. After the whole last week's, the thing in during the correspondence dinner, my videos got hammered because I put out my opinion. I forgot to use the word allegedly. Although allegedly is starting to look like, oh, hell yeah. Okay. But allegedly. And a lot of things I said questioning that got taken down because, snowflakes. If you're in here in the chat so I can spread it out, because this was a last minute thing, go ahead and share it or like it. The more you like it, the more you share it, the more you can go out and get views. As you can see, I'm not in the garage. Family, hold on one second. Guys, stop it. As you can see, my cats are killing one another. Stop it, you two. Hi, welcome to life. The cats are going, when I have to take care of them. That's my job when they're out. Family's in Atlanta going to a game. Um, and my wife is just kind of enjoying that time because, as I told you, she has breast cancer. She's done her chemo. It was really successful. One tumor went half. One tumor almost vanished. They're still concerned about her lymph nodes, but now she's moving on. Her surgery is Tuesday. She's going to do the whole double mastectomy because she's just concerned. But she is holding up really well. Those of you who know me have talked about her, right? I'm concerned, but not concerned because it looks like it's the best worst scenario because her treatment took and the evaluation of the tumors took and the treatment for the chemo works. So hopefully after this they won't need radiation. They're talking about not radiation, so I'm hoping. But she's kind of coming to terms with it. It's a hard thing for her, but there's something about her I think is going to be fine. As for me, I don't give a crap as long as she's okay. I don't care what she looks like. All right, it's my wife, and that's what I say, and I don't give a crap. And I've said that to her, and it's like, it's kind of funny. She was in her surgeon last week, and she was getting undressed because they had to do an ultrasound. And she goes, and I looked at her and I go, this is my wife. I could do this. I said, the good thing about it, you don't have to worry about a bra anymore. And she laughed. Because that's what you got to do. And she's been so strong, and I'm so proud of her because I'll tell you one thing. As me, I'll be freaking the fuck out. Okay? I have to be honest. I mean, it's bad enough as it is to watch her do it, but she goes through it with such strength. It's amazing to me. And I think that's how women are built that way. Shit, women are built that way. All this bullshit that Project 2025 talking about women, go fuck yourself. All right? The one thing I'm going to say about all this thing in Project 2025, you're pissing off women. And women are not happy with you. So there will be a price to pay for all that. That's why all the craziness is going on. But if you want to support my work, and I'm going to be out of work, I'm going to have to take about 4 or 5 days next week. I have a paid subscription to Substack. Definitely would love for you can join the paid subscription. If not, I don't put anything to a paywall, but that if you support my work, that'd be great. Also, I do have PayPal and Venmo. If you want to do a one-time donation, email me at kumquat, KUMQUAT, the number 6 at Outlook, and I will send you a link, and if you can contribute, that'd be great. If not, who cares? But just a request, if you like what I'm doing. And do support my videos on Substack, on YouTube. Please like. Same thing here on TikTok. Although, man, TikTok's a rough one because they are really, really rough now. So we kind of had to play P's and Q's. But I want to talk about a lot of things that are coming up right now because a lot of stuff happened last week. A lot of weird, scary, disconcerting stuff for those of us who are trying to get to sanity again. Okay. First of all, we have to talk about the war. The war in Iran that Trump started, that Trump didn't know what he was doing, that Hesketh just wanted to play with his toys. Again, like the live, share the live so I can get more people here. If you're interested in being on guest, make a request. I don't mind. I'm good with it. If you're MAGA, go away. I don't deal with you. I don't debate you. I'm not going to talk to you. Why? Because it ain't worth my time. I will talk with other people who want to have points, but you guys have no points. You have just your hate. That's all you got left. Because everything that your boss, your Trump said he was going to do ain't done. Lower gas prices? No. Electricity prices low? No. Grocery prices lower? No. Are we more secure? Hell no. Okay. No wars? Kind of not. So that's the thing. But if you're interested, I don't mind. If you have points of views, cool. But I mean, I'm not here to do what a lot of people said. You support MAGA? Why? I don't do that shit. I really don't. I don't. That's not my thing. Because I don't need it. I don't. I know who I am. I know what I say. Okay. So the war in Iran is, I don't know what it is. I mean, you had Pete Hegseth up in at on the Capitol Hill, and Democrats are asking him questions about the war. He has no idea what's going on. Okay, he has no idea how to run the Defense Department. He doesn't. My God, he had, ladies and gentlemen, he had Kid Rock addressing the Pentagon on the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, that's a Saturday Night skit. That's a joke, but it was a reality. I mean, he flew him around in a Black Hawk helicopter. What? I mean, I have to say that. And he gets it on in front of Congress, and he doesn't act like a serious person. He acts like this is a segment on Fox News that he did for years. That's it. Instead of addressing the issues or addressing a question or defending his positions, he just attacks and says it's all about woke, about this, about that. I mean, Ro Khanna asked him about gas prices. Do you understand what you're doing is affecting Americans here on here in a country with gas prices, which lead to other things up the supply chain and higher prices overall? And he said, well, that's a got you question. He goes, well, how's that a got you question? Your actions close the Strait of Hormuz. Your action has caused oil to rise per barrel. Last check was $124 per barrel. Gas has hit the highest average point in the longest damn time ever. And he's saying, and his point is just like Trump is holding on. Americans have to pay to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Here's the only problem. We already had a deal for that. We already had a deal with that under the Obama deal. And it was done. And the pressure, economic pressure that was part of the deal was causing problems in Iran with with citizens and all that. Yes, there were protests. Yes, there was a massive overreaction by the government. But the point I'm trying to say with that is that we don't have to mess with it. They would have done it on its own. That's the thing. So Trump, who hates Obama and anything Obama does, I mean, he keeps talking about Obama and Biden. He wants to arrest them. I mean, that's the thing. This is all about his entire cabinet, or what does someone call it? The liquor cabinet. Between Hegseth and Kash Patel, all that. Their incompetence is stunning. It's stunning. They can't run anything. I saw Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture, talking about SNAP and why SNAP needs to be eliminated because there's fraud. And she's talking about, according to some weird-ass study, people who own Ferraris are getting food stamps. What we call food stamps in the old days, SNAP. You know where I first heard that bullshit? In the 80s. In the 80s, when Reagan was ripping apart the social programs, taking apart the war on poverty, that's what they used. They talked about the welfare queens and people cheating the system and more kids. They had kids so they don't have more money, or they were very well off and still qualifying for food stamps or SNAP, food stamps. I'm going to go what I know. And so she's bringing this up again, and I'm going, what are you talking about? And the way they're going after the war on poverty, the social programs that Johnson put in place on top of the New Deal programs. Understand, the war on poverty and those programs came in a reaction to very poor people not getting anything, at the time. And also to get around the racism that was built into it. Understand, racism and economics are tied together. There was a chance years and years and years ago to have universal health care. The only reason we didn't have universal health care is not because we couldn't afford it. Hey, Gia, how you doing? We couldn't afford it. It's because It's because black people would get it. And that was not on the deal. They did not want that. And that's where you get the economics of redlining, the economics of Jim Crow, the displacement of black workers and Hispanic workers, the less money paid for those people and women. All right, equality was a threat to the upper echelon, usually white Christian males, who wanted to keep everything as it was. And that's the thing. I mean, you have to understand how deep that runs in America. And I don't give a shit what the Supreme Court was about to shift, guys. Supreme Court said about the Voter Rights Act. Okay, that was a knife job. John Roberts, who was part of the original Reagan administration. Hey Shane, how you doing, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. Was part of the Reagan administration, who's always wanted the executive branch to have so much power, but he hated the Civil Rights Act, the Voter Rights Act, because he thought it was unfair to white folk. That's what they went by in there. They turned it on its head. Okay, they didn't kill the Voters' Rights Act, but they did kind of start to bleed it. And it's ridiculous. And what did Louisiana does? Louisiana does, instead of waiting for the next election, like the general election, okay, or in the next election, they stopped the election they're in right now because they got the decision, invalidated everyone's votes, and they're going to restart again when they redraw the maps. This is what Republicans do. That's what they do. I've always said, and I will say this until I shuffle this mortar coil, to vote Republican is to court death. Because they don't want to govern, they want to hold power. Okay? And the whole, as G.I. Gallifrey's saying down here, the whole redistricting thing, no one wants to redistrict. No one wanted to gerrymander. We really didn't. We were going to fight you on the same platform. But Trump, in his weird-ass paranoia, convinced Texas to do it. And all of a sudden, we're like going, they expected the Democrats, like they normally do, to get upset, write a memo that was really harshly worded and said, this is bad, we don't like it. What they didn't expect was the reaction of California that put that on the ballot, that passed. They didn't expect other states, blue states, to do it, to put it to their legislature on the ballot. Instead of letting their legislature do it like they've done it in all the red states, Democratic states or blue states have done it through the ballot box. And most recently in Virginia, where all of a sudden it's a bad thing, according to Republicans, they got their, let's see here. Will, can I ask you a question? We're fucked, aren't we? For the first time, I'm really scared. No, Blue, let me tell you what this is about. If you've seen my videos earlier, okay, and I say something that today on Don Lemon's show, Rick Wilson backed up for me, okay? We are not fucked, all right? I said this in my last video. I did a 20-minute podcast the other night, finding on Substack, basically, what happens next? What do we do now? It's simple. This is not 1955. This is not 1962, okay? They can't stop you from voting like they did in the old days, okay? Literally can't do that, all right? The problem we have isn't the redistricting, isn't the redistricting of the districts. The problem we have is we had 90 million motherfuckers not vote in 2024. 90 million of you people either voted for, did not get off your ass to vote, or a good amount of you voted for Jill Stein because of your fucking stupidity. Okay? Yes, I'm talking about far lefters. 90 million people did not fucking vote. So let's bring an example here. Okay? Hungary. Hungary has dealt with Viktor Orban for what? Close to 12, 15 years? He has set the system. His system was geared for him. It was gerrymandered. It was fixed for him in the parliamentary system they had. He had the courts. He had the press. Okay? He had CPAC that apparently he was paying paying money to him. Curious. Whenever we get a hold of the DOJ, there's some people that need to be talked about as foreign agents. Okay? Foreign agents. But that being said, so this election came up. So, had J.D. Vance over there. Everyone's over there. And Orban was pushing, and he was doing a lot of shady shit, too. A lot of shady shit. Okay? And what happened? He got fucking rolled. He got rolled. You know why? 80% of the voters showed up, and it was too big to rig. They voted him to the point that he had to resign. He could not do what Trump did. Okay? Always remember, the problem we had is that the votes were close. Even when the Biden, it was close. It was enough no, let me rephrase that. It shouldn't have mattered. Okay? Because our system is normally like, okay, that's cool. Shake hands and part ways. We usually are when it comes to elections, we usually had been somewhat tame about it. Remember years ago when Clinton became president, and when I lived in Los Angeles, and they have a place where international people go, and I forgot the name of it, it was years ago. And they had someone sent from Latin America, a country was having problems, and there was an election. He was there for the election, and then he was watching the inauguration or change of power from Bush to Clinton. And he was saying he was amazed how peaceful it was. Because stuff like that, he goes, they'd be fighting in the streets. Oh, no, we don't do that here. That's what we thought. Then came Trump. Then came January 6th. Then came all of that. No, they can't do that, Blue. Blue, they can't do that. They cannot not swear you in the new Congress. You know why? Because that's the new Congress. Not the old Congress swears in the new Congress. Once the election's over, that Congress is done. The new Congress gets together and votes for a speaker, and they seat the new House members. Can't do that. No. Unless there's a Republican majority, no. There will be a new speaker, there'll be a blue speaker, and then everyone. They can't stop it. All right? You can say that. Whoever said that today does not know how the Constitution works. And another doomslayer. Sayer. That's my thing I'm telling you guys. And Johnny Bananas has said it. But see, that was Johnson. Johnson was Speaker of the House in this Congress. Once Congress ends, once January 3rd comes around next year, okay, next year in 2027, that's the new Congress. And the new Congress will select a new speaker who will swear in all the people. Okay? And as for the SAVE Act is dead. It never passed Congress. It's just Trump writing shit. Saying, yeah, I'm done. We can't have no votes, no line votes, signed Donald Trump. Can't do it. So many states already sued him. It's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. All right? I want everyone to take a deep fucking breath on all this shit. It is bad. I mean, the first thing is Virginia. Yeah, they voted to do the redistricting. They got some, hick judge to overturn it, and it went to the Virginia Supreme Court, who went stupid. Because they originally said, yeah, you can have the election for the constitutional amendment. And then, once they win, they said, oh, yeah, man, the vote's not good. That makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense at all. Okay? It was a setup. But I'm going to tell you what, and then came the voter rights thing in Louisiana. Okay? And And then comes Trump talking about, no votes, no ballots, or people talking about he's going to go in. The one thing I hate, look, he is not going to collect all the voting boxes. Can't do it. You know why? A lot of fucking boxes, a lot of fucking counties, a lot of fucking places. Ain't happening. It's all scare tactics. This is also part of the thing. As I said in my video, please go check it out on Substack. Okay? Said in my video, this is about spreading fear. Okay? There's two things we're fighting. Okay? Well, no, there's three things we're fighting. Three things. Okay? We have Trump, MAGA, and Project 2025 doing anything they can to gum up the works and make us crazy. I mean, the EPA is testing for hormones in the water to try to ban birth control. Okay, that's crazy, but that's what they're doing. Okay, they got a judge to appeals court has stopped the mail selling of misoprostol, whatever. Okay, that's bullshit. And they can't certify states. States certify themselves, Blue. States certify themselves. This is no federal elections. Elections are not run by the federal government. They're run by the states. The states. Okay? They have nothing to do with it. Okay? Each state certify. That's what happened in 2020. That's what drove Trump crazy. That's why he fucking fought everyone in the certifications. That's why they came up with the false electors. Okay? Yes, states will still certify. They can't. Let me tell you why. Okay, I want everyone take a motherfucking deep breath. Please. And I say this for your peace of mind. All right? Again, the question, use Hungary as an example. All right? They're saying doing all this to drive us nuts. And we're fighting that side. We're fighting the crazy to make you nuts. All the things they say they're going to do, that, this, that, okay? Little things that come out. We're fighting people who take that information on social media. I mean, there are people still saying they're coming in for the 13th Amendment. How the fuck they going to do that? Without a fucking legislation. They need 2/3 of the states to that. It doesn't work like that. Okay? He can't do that. Even the birthright citizenship, I think, is going to be dead at the Supreme Court because even they won't go that far. All right? The point I'm saying is that we're fighting that, and then we're fighting people on our side who take that and say, we're fucked. No. Okay? You do that for clicks and giggles. I don't. Okay? And the other side we're fighting is the far left. Those latte liberals who didn't vote, who voted for Jill Stein, who are now out talking their shit about the Voters' Rights Act, saying, well, that's what happens when you vote. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you people. Okay? Fuck you people. Simple as that. Okay? We're fighting that. This is the fact. This is the truth. Okay? If we come out and vote, no matter what rules they put down, if Democrats don't fucking lose their nerve and put everyone on the ballot, if we come out in mass and vote, in mass, and vote blue, such a level they cannot say it's rigged. They can't stop it. They wouldn't be able to. If you take the House and you take the Senate, they know they're fucked. And why do I know they fear this? Because look at the desperation of the psychoness that they keep talking about. The things they could putting out. Okay, the things they're saying. I mean, Mike Johnson is sitting there and going, we are the responsible adults. People should vote for us. That's why we're going to win the midterms. Dude, what are you into? Has someone checked his blood recently? Don't fear. Fear is the mind killer. Tell him, GI, you know what I'm about to say. Fear is the mind killer. Okay? We're going to look through our fear. We're going to let it pass over us, and we'll see the path again. Okay? I'm done being fucking scared. All right? Everyone should take the line from the first Avengers movie. Dr. Banner, it's time for you to get angry. He goes, that's my secret. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. And not crazy angry, but it's just that's the thing. I watched videos, especially majority of black creators, fucking absolutely going crazy over the Supreme Court decision. Rightfully so. It's sad because you have to understand, because we don't see whites only bathrooms or whites only fountains. They existed within my lifetime. Okay, they existed in Donald Trump's lifetime. In every one of the Supreme Court justices, the older guys' lifetimes. They knew Jim Crow. They knew what it was. Okay? Jim Crow is not hundreds of years old. Jim Crow is 60 years old. 70, see. But let's take it from when I was born, 1962, 64 years old. Before that, even worse. Okay? I mean, Ruby Bridges is still alive. And if you don't know who she is, look it up. Okay? She's still alive. All right? It's not in the dustbin of history. Okay? It is not. What it has been perverted by Republicans who have spent fucking 40 years on a long-term gain to take apart our judicial system and racial equality. Why? Because they don't want to share. Again, racial economics. That's what fights them. That's what drives them. The idea that people of color would have equal standing. Why do you think there is no equal sharing of property taxes for schools and states? Why? Because those people in the affluent areas who are majority white do not want to compete with black and Hispanics for college positions if they're on equal grounds. The lie of the school vouchers is just so the rich can get richer and the poor won't get shit. Okay? And also toss in, hey, we're going to get some, throw in some religion as it while we're at. Let's break it all. Okay? All right? That's truth. Quick note, if you're watching live, share. If you want to give me a gift, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it. See, that's the thing. We have to look back at this. They have muddied the motherfucking waters for 40 to 50 years with us. And they have sold you guys. There you go. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is a little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear or let it pass over me, and I will see the path beyond it. That's what we do. Pass over me and through me, and then we will see the path. Because that's the thing. Stop. It's no longer time to commiserate. I mean, let me get this straight. Something that someone told me years ago. It was a sales thing, but it's true for life. Okay? Life is 20% of what happens to you and 80% how you respond to it. Okay? How do you respond to tragedy or obstacles? How do you respond to getting hit, pushed to the ground? How do you respond to getting punched in the mouth? Okay? It happens to all of us. Okay? It happens to all of us. And do you notice that MAGA and the majority of MAGA and the Republicans are in victim mode all the time? Because that's their choice to react to everything. Okay? Most MAGA act like victims because they've had a tough life. And I get it. There's sometimes shit happens you can't get around. I mean, it's true. I get it. But you still can fight through it. You can still be respectful. You can still not be, not a loser, but give into it. That's the hardest thing. It's not easy. Fuck no, it's not easy. Okay, I'm not going to say this. I have worked all my life to get beyond that. Okay, am I totally rich? No, but I am not in those situations because I won't let myself get in a situation. Okay, look at my size. I've always been like this. I drove people crazy because I would not let this get to me. Fuck that. Because here, was where it worked. Here's what I used. Okay? And that's what everyone don't understand. You have options. You can make it better for yourself. All right? And the government's job is to give you a base so you can be lifted up if you fall. That's what it's always been. Should have been. All right? The thing about America is not the greatest country on the earth, planet. It's the greatest opportunities you usually got. More opportunities that you get than you don't get anywhere else in the world. Usually not many caste problems. You can get through things. But we held ourselves down with letting the rich and the people convince us that people of color or other poor people are enemies. Let's put it this way. Who fought the Civil War in the South? And for whom? Okay? Do you really think that those poor farmers and those poor folk that fought the Civil War for the Confederacy got anything out of it? No, the only people that they were fighting for was the rich plantation owners, the rich folk who wanted to keep their way of life, and the small farmers still getting fucked because you had rich plantations making money because they had slaves and didn't have to pay for labor. You see? I mean, that line from Hamilton, your Virginia is doing great because you don't have to pay for labor. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on, all right? And so the point is, they have convinced us now, since 1980 or even before, that the rich will take care of us. No, don't worry about the promise of America where you have a manufacturing job and they will go take care of you. And you can have a job for life and enough money to buy a house, raise your children, and retire well with your Social Security and your pension. No, they took that all from us. Why? Because the rich wanted to get richer. Companies, they're some forgot the guy who just ran general elected, or the what was that damn economics? The guy who came up with trickle-down theory, that benefits that you get from your job, your health insurance, all that, are considered socialism. Socialism economics. Because you won't stand up for yourself. That shouldn't be paid to you. That's it. It's insane like that. Because that's part of the deal. That's what always been part of the deal. But they reneged on the motherfucking deal. They reneged on it. Okay? They reneged on it. And now we spent 40 years. And here's the thing. It became worse because they made sure that they can work through the justice system to take away everything that we had worked so hard for. So hard for. Okay? In the 70s, 80s, all those decisions you've seen about health, about against companies for pollution and all that, that was to protect us from them. Okay? And companies don't give a fuck about you, honestly. If anyone here in the chat, you ever heard of what happened to Union Carbide in India? Do you remember that tragedy? The company knew what was going on. Killed hundreds of people. They don't care. If you ever watched the movie Aaron Brockovich, PG&E knew what was going on. They didn't care. They don't care about us. And hence, they got the Republican Party to buy into it, and to the extent, the Democratic Party. Okay? And the thing about it is that Republicans kind of changed it, didn't change it, did change it, but they couldn't get a foothold until Trump showed up. And Trump gave them the secret sauce. And what is that? Simple. Play to their hate. MAGA holds on to Trump because they don't give a shit if they don't have a pot to piss in. They don't give a fuck that gas is $10 a gallon at one point. They don't care how many soldiers die in this war. They don't care if they starve. All they care about is that the other person of color is going to be the same way they are, and they can make fun of them and still feel bigger than them. and usually God justifies them. Notice that every one of those motherfucking members of the cabinet are rich. Fucking rich. Okay? Brooke Rollins, I told you about her with that thing about that old 80s discussion that rich people are getting, poor people are gaming the system, they own Lamborghinis. I saw that bullshit. I've heard that bullshit before. Okay? And she's the one that said we can all eat at $15 a day. Piece of chicken, tortilla, broccoli. Why are you asking for more food? Okay? It was like out of that Disney cartoon, which is my favorite one, The Emperor's New Groove, where Yzma is sitting there, this guy is trying to talk to her, he goes, that's not my concern that you don't have, what is it you want? And the guy goes, food? Ha! You should have thought of that before you became peasants. That's the way they treat us. Think about it. That's the way they treat us. All right? And so now what do? Okay. They have basically honestly fucked themselves. Okay. The ACA's ended. People are getting kicked out of nursing homes because Medicare has been cut. Medicaid's been cut. Medicare is next on the chopping block, although I've paid into that motherfucker all my life. That is my fucking money. Same with Social Security. It's not an entitlement or a burden. It's my money. It's literally annuity. It's an annuity that grows that I get paid back on. I have a pension. That's the way it's supposed to work. That was the idea with the New Deal. Okay? That was the idea of the New Deal. But they want to take it from us. Why? Because they want to feed the rich machine. And they keep doing it. All right. And here, I'm going to make this clear. I am not a crazy fucking all business is bad thing. I think the greatest thing about business is that if it's done right, it moves you forward. That people do get benefits from. They do have jobs if they get paid well. They have insurance, which can be handled through universal health care, but that's a different cat. But they do have benefits, and it gives them a purpose. And they can move a company forward if the company makes them part of the company, the deal. Okay? That's what I think business should be. I admire Amazon. You know why? That's a fucking great idea. They tried it early in the 80s, right? And it failed somewhat. But Amazon stepped with it. Now it's what we do. Okay? The only problem with Amazon, pay your workers a living wage. Well, that means things will get more expensive. No, it means you'll cut back on your profit a little. So you don't get 2 yachts, Jeffy. You get 1. You see my point? Share profits with your people. Do you know the best thing you can do to get people to be on your side? Profit fucking sharing. That's right. Don't buy stock. Don't buy back your own stock that benefits your minuscule stockholders. That's why the stock market goes further. No, you share profits. And what does that mean? The people on the floor know that they have a stake in it. And they can get something out of it. That makes for a happy workforce. And a workforce that stays for you and works hard for you. Okay? But they don't hear this. They don't see this because it got lost in all the bullshit and all the great money making. Donald Trump is a bad businessman. He's never made a profit in his fucking life. He's conned everyone and taken money. Okay? He has never made a legitimate motherfucking dollar in his life. Ever. Ever. That's why he doesn't know what groceries. He doesn't know what it is to struggle. And the people around him are the same. Okay? Then you toss in the religious fanatics, the evangelicals, and you shake and you get this shit. Okay? And let's be honest. Okay? Let's be honest. And let's move on to something else real quick about this. Trump's health ain't there. He is talking about stuff that is crazy. Okay? And before everyone freaks out here on TikTok and goes, Miss No, his White House leaks. They tell stories. They want to tell stories because they're crazy. All right. Trump is walking around talking about how he wants to be Napoleon or Alexander or something. He thinks he's the greatest person. He wants to leave a legacy. But he thinks that by doing what he's doing now, he doesn't understand how it works. Because people have tended to him all his life. No one has called him off on his bullshit. He's been doing the same thing over and over again, the same grift, the same attitude, the same act. And people have never called him out on it. And they got along with it, and he's made money from it. And people have loyal to him before he tosses them under the bus. Okay? Then what? Still now. Because the wheels are coming off this motherfucking bus. Okay? He bit off more than he can chew. First administration, whether he likes it or not, the bureaucracy around him kept him in check. Okay? Honestly, he probably would have had a second term right after his first if it hadn't been for COVID. If it hadn't been for COVID, probably could have eked through another term. We would have been done with it. Okay? But COVID came. And then Biden won the election. And then you had the whole, January 6th. He's still fighting that he lost the 2020 election. It's insane. Okay? And that's what he's basing his second term on, is revenge. He said that in the I'm going to be your retribution. Whatever. Okay? And everything that's happening in the economy and the war is self-inflicted. The tariffs are self-inflicted. Okay? And the thing about it, and he's done that, but he hasn't helped anyone but himself and a few people. The richest of the rich. And those people are taking advantage of him. Trust me. Stephen Miller is in for his racism and ICE. And they still want to give ICE $19 billion more. Why? I don't know. They got more money than God, as it is. All right? And I cannot wait for that when the election comes, and these guys are going to be on a block. So what's it all come down? We talked about all this. Talk about all these things that make it crazy every fucking day. You wake up and look and go, what the fuck? Doesn't this guy sleep? As a 64-year-old man, yes, I will get up in the early morning, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, sit for a few minutes, maybe a half hour or so, catch up with whatever, and then go back to sleep. But normally, I'll, play a game on my phone or read something. Try to stay with that, or just look at TikTok and see what's the new Pit music video. If you haven't seen the Pit, please go see the Pit. And I'll tell you why that's so popular. People say, why it's so popular? Because unlike the world around us, it's literally competent people doing competent things to save people's lives, even in the worst case situations, without drama, very little drama. On a side note, I never liked Grey's Anatomy. You know why? Because it was less medical and more soap opera. I liked ER because there was a lot of medical, but they had their soap opera. Okay. This one is the best medical show I've ever seen because there is interpersonal reactions with the characters during the time at work, not off. Okay? And they don't bring it there. All right? There's a line for one character says to another, hey, don't bring your personal stuff to the job. It doesn't work. But it's brilliant because House is all right. House is a fantasy. ER is good because it's made by the same people. But you have to check out the Pit only because, and they asked Noah Wiley, who's the star of it, why is it popular? It's because, he says it's because competent people are doing acting competently. And they are. There is no. If you watch like Grey's Anatomy, the other ones, there's always the bad doctor, the doctor who's going to ruin everything, and who's high up, so you can't fight him. Do you notice that? Okay, but no, no, not here. This is worth your time because it shows you when people are competent and work for you what can be accomplished, even if the bureaucracy is working against you. And that's my shout out for the week. Watch it. It's on HBO Max. It's worth it. Binge it, please. It will make you. It is worth your watch. But it is emotional, but it's worth it. Okay. I've been kind of ranting here. Thank you all for been hanging in. I was hoping for more people. That's cool. It's Saturday night. It's Friday night. Everyone's out and about. And we're talking about stuff. And I'm massively suppressed right now on TikTok. But again, share, like, any gifts, great. I appreciate it. But I want to bottom line this all for you guys because you're going to see a lot of stuff in the next few days about the war on women, the war on minorities, ICE, blah, blah, blah. I get it. The war itself in Iran is at a standstill. Trump, again, is back to, we're going to blow him up, but we want a deal. No, dude, you don't know what to do. You don't fucked up. You can't get out. He's telling Congress, there's no war for you to approve. It's done. And he's also telling Congress it's not in the Constitution for you to approve the war because no other country does it. And everyone's going to believe it. That's the sad thing. A lot of people believe in it, Republicans, and back him up. But the thing about it is, watch Republicans. No, I did not serve. I'm so sorry. No, I never served. I never could, physical thing, and I never served. But I know people who did, and I respect them. And so it's I'm not going to go with stolen valor. No, respect anyone who served anywhere. And someone who was a child of the Vietnam War, I know how twisted people can be about that. Anyone in this live has ever been to Washington, D.C. and seen the wall, that will really, really affect you. And I never forgot it, ever, because it was part of my childhood. And that one and the statue of the three soldiers will affect you. Okay. And to those who served in the wars after that, Afghanistan, Iraq, I worked with a guy whose son was an artillery officer during Iraq when everything kind of got weird, and he had to go house to house, and he lost an entire squad. And he was telling me his son his son had called him crying because he was going to have to write letters to all these family members who died. So it was tough. So it's I am not someone who thinks that we spend too much on the military before Trump. I think that there was ways to make the military hard, lean, and effective, and we had. Trump has ruined it. Pete Hegseth has ruined it. They've turned the military into a joke. They can't even do logistics, and we know that. And now they're encased in another war. That the good thing about it is, to be honest, from someone who came from the Vietnam era, the reason we got deep in Vietnam is that Johnson kept pushing it because we still have the Cold War and all that, and it cost a lot of lives until it cost him his presidency. And then when we that's the thing, you get committed in there and you can't get out. Bush did it, later Afghanistan with the other, Obama and Biden. The best thing that maybe Trump did is forcing Biden to leave Afghanistan. It became a disaster, but we're not involved in. But Trump dropped us in the middle of a Middle Eastern war in an area that is is the most economical linchpin in the world. You did that, and you thought there would be no consequences. Well, there are consequences, and we're paying them right now, and he does not know how to get out of it because they're incompetent. That's why there's no ground troops. Because I will say this, there are people in Pentagon that are probably still fighting them on it. Because what are you going to land ground troops where? Where? Iran's huge. What strategic point are you going to take? Don't talk about the uranium. You couldn't get that out if you wanted to. It's too heavy. You can't put ground troops around the Strait of Hormuz. That would be a nightmare. What are you going to do? You're going to take that island? For what purpose? It won't mean anything. Okay? It's just... And now you're the one blockading the Strait of Hormuz. It's all incompetent. You saw that with his testimony, Heske's testimony for the Congress. He has no idea what the fuck he's doing or going on. He just speaks in Fox News jibber jabber. That's what he does. You can't run that. You can't run the Defense Department like that. All right, he's so incompetent. Yeah, that's right, Gabrielle. So incompetent. And that drives everyone crazy because you can see it, hear it. Scott Bassett, incompetent. Howard Lutkin, incompetent. Brooks Rawlin, incompetent. They're all incompetents. Do you know disaster funds haven't been spread at all, even in red states? Why? Because there's no fucking FEMA and there's no one to run it right. You know, there's something right. No, I don't think he'll get fired. I think he's too loyal to get fired. He would get impeached. I think he would get removed forcibly, but not by Trump, because he's his warrior dog. I have never, in all the years of Rumsfeld and Caspar Weinberger, other Defense Department secretaries, I have never seen anyone as dumb as Pete Hegseth. That man is dumb, and they all know he's dumb. And that's why he fires all the senior people, because they say he's dumb. Same thing with Kash Patel. Those of you who believe that Kash Patel is an FBI agent, please raise your hand in the chat. Yeah, I thought so. That man is not... The FBI, the most feared law enforcement agency in the world. Honestly. Most feared law enforcement agency in the world. Known for his competency. Known for bringing people down. Known for tracking shit down. It's now a joke. Run by a very small man who, if he had applied to be an FBI agent and they let him in, couldn't get to the first week of Quantico. You tell me that guy could clear a kill room. You tell me he could investigate a crime. You tell me that if he knocked at your door and said FBI, I would go, yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'm sorry, little boy. I have no candy for you today. Slam. I mean, and he's there because he's loyal to Trump. And that's all it is. They're all loyal to Trump. They have gutted the American government and made it a mess. It's going to take us maybe 2 decades to fix what they did. 2 decades to fix what they did. Someone made a comment. There was an article in the New York Times, actually a New York Times board editorial, about the measles outbreak. Measles is rampant, people, again. Why? Vaccines. People are not vaccinating their children. People are not, school districts, especially red school districts, are not holding kids to their immunization schedules. Freedom. Fuck that. Because the thing about it, that's selfishness. You get vaccinated, your kids get vaccinated to protect the entire society, to make it better. But the point was in the editorial was that measles is the first step warning. If they're not getting measles vaccine, that means they're not getting, which is all one part, mumps, measles, rubella. The other two are about to show up. The one that should worry everybody, because RFK Jr. has said things against it, polio. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not want polio loose again. You don't. And just because some guy who's never, ever, ever, ever been a doctor or some kind of medical professional is running the health department, the Department of Health and Human Services. That's literally going back to talking about the pit, walking into an emergency room and there's not a doctor there, but an influencer who's not going to treat your wounds or treat who you are. They're going to give you some homeopathic thing and charge you $600 for it. That's incompetency. That's incompetency. And I'll give Trump credit. The person they were going to put it, he had a Surgeon General, that crazy woman. He had to pull her out because they weren't going to take her. Even the Republicans going no. And Bill Lee, the senator from Louisiana, whose vote as a medical doctor put RFK into his position, and now he have regrets, was the one against her. A little late, son of a bitch. You screwed it up. My Lord. So what's this bring on now? And it's getting to 11 o'clock and I have to work tomorrow. My last day to work before my wife's surgery and all that. What does this all mean? What we talk about this. Hey, optimistic, how you doing, young lady? Hey, what does this all mean? Why is it so crazy? Why is it so more crazy than it's been lately? From the alleged assassination attempt on the correspondence dinner, to all the talking points afterwards, to his obsession with Jimmy Kimmel, with him not knowing what to do with Iran, with crazy statements coming out of him every day, crazy memes, all that. His cabinet going nuts and making announcements and doing weird shit. Why? Why are they doing it? Because even with the redistricting they're trying to do, the gerrymandering, they know they're fucked. Because it's not looking good. Because there are Republicans voting, crossing line to vote. All right? There have been wins by Democrats even before all this gerrymandering stuff in red areas. Democrats. Okay? Georgia, we have two public commissioners who run who talk about power, who won by like 70-30 over their Republican candidates. The 14th district won by a guy who thinks that Georgia was named after George Washington. That's right, he said that. Okay. Oh my God, you can't make that shit up. His opponent, Democratic opponent, who lost by 30 points, who lost by almost 60 points to Marjorie Taylor Greene, he closed the gap and gained 24 points on it. And they're going to come back again in November to do this again. It's a good possibility that seat will turn Democratic. I would tell you here in Georgia, John Ossoff was going to win that Senate seat because there's no way any of those idiots running against him are going to make a difference. They can't. Because they're all their talking points. All the things that they are talking about is the same things they've been talking about for the last 4 years. Immigration, all the trans stuff, and Donald Trump loves me. And the left are failed. And what are Democrats going to talk about? Affordability. How much are you paying for hamburger meat, y'all? Do you know that hamburger meat, a pound, costs more than that the minimum wage, federal minimum wage? Do you know that gas is the highest point it ever will be? Do you know the war cost us $25 billion in 60 days? Do you know that people don't have health care anymore because they can't afford it? Again, New York Times video, gentleman who with health problems, 62 years old, was paying for ACA care with his medications, for his diabetes and everything else. $56 a month. Because they didn't pass the ACA subsidies, it became $1,600 a month, and he can't afford it. And so what's he doing for his medication? He's had a lot of medication left over from the last time he's rationing it. How he's rationing insulin, I have no fucking idea. And he's working, even though he can barely move, as a pizza delivery driver. This is what Republicans do to American citizens. So I asked this question, when you coming up to vote, coming up now, because the thing that scares them is that we're all going to come out to vote. The reason that they flooded everything with all this bullshit, because they don't want us to come vote, go vote, or we're afraid, or we don't think it matters. Now, this is a message to the far left. Go fuck yourself. Get out of our way, okay? Get out of our way, because I'm tired of your bullshit. But this is for everyone else. If we vote for people who are going to take care of us, that scares them because it's not Republicans. And that also goes for corporate Democrats. Janet Mills backed out of the Senate race in Maine. Why? She's 78 and she had no money because everyone was supporting Grand Plantier. So what's the next step for Democrats? She's not going to support him for the general election. Bitch, why? You want Susan Collins again? And I see some comments, people comparing him to John Fetterman. You know what? I don't hear Fetterman here. You know why? This guy's never been a politician. He's an oyster farmer. I think he's going to be okay. But I'd rather vote for him than fucking Susan Collins. I'd rather vote for the unknown guy who thinks he's going to unknown quantity, who is saying he's going to take care of Maine, people in Maine and Americans, than a woman who's been in Congress, who has betrayed us several times, who tries to play the middle. I don't like Trump, but fucking votes for him every time. So the point is, primary season's coming up. If you're in Georgia, early voting's on. Look at all those, look at the people for primaries. Vote for the person that's going to best help you on the Democratic side. And come to the general election November, we have to come out and show out in numbers that they cannot say were cheated. They ain't enough so-called illegal aliens if we all vote like they did in Hungary. There's no way. And they can't do anything they say they can do. They want to do. They can't stop mail-in voting. They can't get the boxes. They can't change it. But I will say this. Even if they change the rules, we'll still vote. Figure out how to vote. Go out and vote. Vote early. Don't vote by mail. Vote early. All right? Don't go the day of it. Vote early. If you go the day of it, be ready. Have everything and vote. That scares them. And they know it. That's why the desperation is going out there. Do not listen to the people on social media that tell you we're fucked. Okay? No. This is the voter rolls. Fuck them. Check your voter rolls. You got time. Call your election and see if you're registered. If not, re-register. Remember to re-register. Check it. I check mine. Check yours. That's the thing. They're going to try to cheat. But no, if they're going to play the rules, if they change the rules, play the rules. And then vote. That's what they know, and that's what everything they say is everything's the same, both parties the same, or why should I be at vote? It doesn't matter. Or we're fucked anyway. Fuck that. That means they win. If you believe that. Okay? And I still think there are more of us that do not believe that than there is that do. Okay? That's the thing we have to think in our heads, that this is, and I think Rick Wilson said it. He said it on Don Lemon's show, that they are making it worse for themselves. Because understand that the Texas redistricting was based on Hispanic votes in 2024. Well, guess what? The Hispanic vote has shifted. enough that it's a threat to them. In Florida, there have been Democratic wins in red areas. Same for Mississippi. Same in Louisiana. So they can do all this fucking whatever. But if we go out and vote, it won't matter. It won't matter. Because here's, again, they haven't taken away our votes. Okay, we can still vote. Just making it, they're making it tougher. They want to make it tougher. And the administration is weak. These are all weak people, Blue. They're incompetent. Their shenanigans are jokes. And here's the thing. Take heart from what happened in Minnesota and ICE. Okay? Now, I know it's still on the ground now, but they fought off ICE peacefully. Unfortunately, it cost Renee Good and Alex Peretti's lives. May God rest their soul and raise them to glory. But they get frustrated. They're frustrated now because their lie or everything they wanted to get out of the shooting, on the correspondence there a week ago, boom, done, finished, it's all over. They got nothing out of it. Not a damn thing. The narrative just never bit. And they got freaking frustrated. People in the White House are saying, why aren't people believing that there was an assassination attempt? Why are people questioning it? Why aren't people upset? That's what they're talking about. Like the left wants Trump to be, violence to him. No, we don't. I don't. Political violence breeds political violence everywhere. It's dumb. It doesn't work. It just perpetuates bullshit. Okay? But criticizing the president is not inciting violence. Saying that you're glad Robert Mueller is dead, or asking for the arrest of people, that is a problem. Okay, but they couldn't even sell that. Did you see Scott, what's that guy? The guy on CNN. Scott, someone help me here. Scott, the weirdo on the Trump talking piece on the CNN roundtable. Get his ass handed to him by that kid, Adam, to the point that Adam was trying to make a point with his hands, and he goes, "Don't stick your finger in my face." Scott Jennings, thank you, Optimistic. Don't stick your fucking finger in my face. He didn't even stick his finger in his face. He didn't. All right, yeah, Adam Mockler, thank you. And all he did was call him out on this bullshit about the war and all that. And when they can't answer you, they go that way. And you notice that a lot of the MAGA influencers are going crazier and crazier, blaming Biden, saying that the prices are good because of Trump. You see that? It's all desperation. It's desperation. They are not going to win the election in November this time. Fuck no. Because we are not going to let them. We're not going to depend on the far left. We're going to go in there and vote blue. Well, voting for Democrats, just regardless of that. Why not? They vote R all the time. I hate that fucking argument from progressives and Democrats. I hate that fucking argument. Why do you think Republicans win? Why do you think they ran Herschel Walker? Because they got enough people, and it went to a runoff. Why? Because they voted R. Even though he was an incompetent fool compared to Raphael Warnock. Now, Warnock won in the runoff. But you see my point? I'm tired of these fucking stupid rules that Democrats put on themselves. It's okay to throw a hand grenade in the room to protect everyone once in a while. You get my point? All right, I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about going in there and just talking the shit you need to. Even if it's talk. Because we don't do it. That's why Chuck Schumer is so weak. He doesn't talk shit. He talks mush. Same with Hakeem Jeffries. He doesn't inspire me. He aggravates me. I'm waiting for him to see what's the if, and, or, but. Okay? No, I want to say, this is it. This is what we need to do. This is why it's right. Well, no, because your position is wrong. You're not helping the American people. And that's what we're going to get with the majority of Democrats. Even if they're fucking AIPAC Democrats, suck it up. We can deal with them later. Fuck. That's what frustrates me. There are no perfect candidates. Republicans know that. They don't give a shit. It's time for us to stop thinking like that. And don't bring John Fetterman up to me. Fuck him. He's dead. He's dead to me, and he's dead in that office. Okay? Pennsylvania is not going to reelect him. Just like Christian Cinema. Okay? That happens. But if we have a great majority, a big enough space, those two, if they turn, you have people turn like that, oh, look, I just got restricted. That didn't take long. Hold on 1 second. Stupid. I was about to end this thing anyway. In the next few minutes, I have to go to sleep. See? It doesn't take much, guys. Them suppressing us or restricting us is because they fear us. They fear us. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Figuratively, his career is ended. Better? God. Restrictions for some odds contains things that may find uncomfortable, harassment and bullying. God, you people are snowflakes. Snowflakes. You don't like when we talk your same shit. You don't like when we say we're going to do what you do in order to win. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to adopt the old OSS model. The OSS was the American spy agency before the CIA. Okay? Worked in the background with guerrillas in the Philippines and against German occupations during the war. And they had one saying to what to do. The only rule is to win. Period. And that's what we need to do. The only rule is to win. And that means voting blue. Okay? Vote for who you want in primary. If that person doesn't win, then still vote for the other person. Don't pull a Janet Mills. Don't pull a Chuck Schumer. Don't do it. The only rule is to win. Repeat after me. Because once we win, because Trump's talking about doing all kinds of winning, we're winning everywhere. No, he is not. We will. And I'm here to, for once, get off this doom-saying bullshit. All these people here getting clicks for saying, you know that it's over. Fuck that. Okay? No. We are stronger than that. And we're proving it every day. And yes, get frustrated. Get angry. But what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Now what? That's what I did in my podcast. That's the name. Now what? Okay? And I'm going to end it with this, with something that I think is real important for everyone to remember. Remember when I started this live today, that life is 20% of what happens to you and 80% how you react to it. Okay? And take it for someone who's watching his wife go through, in my mind, is like the most scariest fucking thing in the world. When your own body is trying to kill you. And watching her take it with unbelievable courage and heart. For being just standing there and taking it. And about to face something that literally takes parts of her body off. But standing there ready, said, I'm there. God, it's just, I have to admire that, because I'll be honest, I'd be dead meat. I couldn't handle it. She is more than that. Okay? That's how she's handling her situation. Okay? With strength that's admirable. So, right now we're dealing with this. how are we going to react to it? And part of it is, there's a book I read years ago, someone gave me, about two female Marine officers talking about how they handled their platoons or groups, and I know I'm wrong, and how you can do the same in your life. And it was a long time ago I read the book, but I remember the story she opened up with, because it says, look at your life as flying an aircraft, okay? And once in a while, you're going to have engine trouble. Something's going to happen, and you got to keep the plane from crashing. You got to keep your life from your situation from spiraling out of control. And the first thing she said, the first thing you do before worrying about what happened, figure out how to keep the aircraft in the air. Do what you have to do to keep the aircraft in the air. Okay? Then evaluate the problem to solve it, because you cannot solve the problem if you crashed. And I always think about that. I need to approach all this that way. Oh my God, this is a mess. Great. Get upset. You panic a little. But then you go, okay, how do I keep going? How do I keep my aircraft in the air? And then, what's the problem with the aircraft? Once I put in the duct tape and the glue and everything, I keep it up. How do I solve the problem that's causing this? And this is what is going to be with this. How do we solve this with all the judicial against us and Project 200? How do we do that? We solve it by first keep the aircraft in the air by calling their bullshit out. That's one. And then we vote blue in the primary to one we want, and then we vote blue in the general election to keep the aircraft flying. I don't like them. They have A, B, and C. I don't give a fuck. Are they a Republican supporting Trump? No, I'll take it for now. I'll deal with his problem later, but I'm not going to let the aircraft crash. You see my point? All right. So, I mean, this is what I've been saying. If you follow me on Substack, Binder38US, find my podcast. It's called Now What? Now What? Talking about the voters' right restrictions. And spread it around. Because people need that now. I am not normally an optimistic person. I've always said I was a cynic. But you know what? Cynicism ain't going to win shit today. All right? It's going to make it worse for your family, my family, and the future of this country. Okay? And if you're tired of their bullshit every day, we end it in November. We all stand up and stand out. And if you hear the progressives and the far lefters talking about it doesn't matter, the first thing you tell them is to shut the fuck up. And if you hear MAGA trying to get in and say things, I don't listen to you anymore, because you're not worth my time. And then once we get control, we press them not only to start going after the people who have hurt and harmed us with justice, but also to fix the system, but make sure in the short term that people don't suffer anymore under this regime. That's what we do. No more compromise, no more doing stuff for the good of the American people, although we know we're getting fucked. And the first thing you do is get rid of this Democratic leadership as it stands. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, bye, bye, bye. All right? So this is my optimistic message to you guys. Those who follow me, those who my videos, those who send me messages. I've been restricted. Yeah. I know. It's welcome to the club. You know. So again, if you follow me here at RJ12764 at TikTok. Still here. I'm definitely going to be on Substack, Binder38US Substack. Like I said, I'm going to miss in a few days. If you want to support me and my work, please sign up for my paid subscription there. I would appreciate it. If you want to do a one-time donation, email me at KUMQUAT, the number 6 at Outlook.com. I have a Venmo or a PayPal link. I will send it to you if you want to do that. But Blue, I hope you feel better. Don't worry about it, because these people who doomsayer, they make a lot of quiche doing it, but it's not helping us, because we are better than that. We are stronger than that. Screw this. Okay, we are winning this, and that's why you see the desperation going on. Okay, that's why I want to tell you guys again. Follow me at Substack Binary38 US. Sign up for paid, but definitely watch that podcast called Now What. Trust me, it is an example of what we all should be saying. All right, they're not going to take this from us. And let me put it this way too. If they do something that works and suppresses everyone, do you think Americans will just lay down and say, okay? Think on that. Think on it. Think about the AI chairman who was introduced to the words Molotov cocktail. Think of the warehouse fires that have been going on and now they're kind of suppressed. Think of that. Because if they suppress us in the vote, if they're able to cheat us, which they can't, but if, then you give someone nothing to lose. That's all I got to say. But I don't think they'll get there. That's another thing they'll figure out real quick. But anyway, thank you for hanging in for me for the last hour or so. I'm going to get some sleep, and get to work. You won't hear from me for the next few days. I might do a podcast with Mike. I'll have to ask him on it, see what he wants to do. I'll have to see what we're up to. But I want to thank you all for coming to the live. Again, support me on my platforms. I will put this up on Substack once it downloads. I want you all to have a good rest of the weekend. Take care of your own. And as like I always say, there is more of us than there is